Amen.
Amen. So before we jump into the topic for this evening, I want you to tell my listeners a little bit about yourself, just briefly, and then just whatever the Lord lay on your heart to talk about. My message I just presented. So go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Evangelist Martha Mumba from Pretoria, South Africa. Yeah, I am originally from Zambia, but residing in Pretoria, South Africa, and recently working with the grassroots community activists in Africa.
Just a moment.
Of Africa.
Yeah, that's okay. Just a moment. So what she's saying is, Evangelist Martha Mumba. She is my admin. She helped me. She assists me in my African group called GRCAM of Africa.
Amen.
Amen. Go ahead. What else? What else you want to tell my listeners before you get into talking about my video?
All right. I just want to thank you first and foremost for this opportunity to add me to this podcast, which is about raising awareness and solving Black issues in our communities. Yeah, through group interaction and promoting global Black unity. Also, which is in kingdom building and Black empowerment in the 21st century.
Yes.
I do not take it for granted to be part of this great vision, which is the grassroots community activist movement. Hallelujah. Which is making Black liberation a reality through their services. Hallelujah. So, can I go ahead and say my opinion?
Go ahead. Yes, that's what I want you to do. Go ahead.
I really regard this organization as my organization.
Yes.
Not only mine, but our organization.
Exactly.
Because this organization is not like these others which are just spoken by word, but this organization is very different in such a way that we have viable programs and issues we address that are important to Black community, such as urban violence, unemployment, mass incarceration, failing schools, police brutality, inadequate health care and housing. These are major problems that the Black people are facing, both in the continent and in the diaspora.
Yes.
So this is not just a movement. This is not just a vision, a mere vision, but a movement that will bring a major change in our leisure group, and will bring a major change amongst the Black people.
Yeah.
We see our leader has made a vision clear, which is setting the ball on the pitch and calling forth for other players in the pitch, which is us who are willing to support this vision, to come on board and do our part in building the walls of this vision with the foundation that has already been laid by our leaders, Mr. Emmanuel Barbee and Sister Renee. So let us all come in as a force to support them, each one doing our part in different areas of expertise.
Yeah.
Providing unlimited services to keep the ball rolling.
Yes.
And enhancing the vision to become a real business which will liberate us financially as Black people.
Amen.
And give us the power to to earn ourselves respect in our racial group. Because money has a voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to be heard in this world when you don't have it. Huh? Just like the Bible says, faith without work is dead. The same way, if we talk, we just talk, we keep on talking like black people, we keep on complaining, we keep on protesting in the roads, but we don't have anything with that. We are poor. Our voice shall be like a noise, it shall not be heard. But when we are doing something that is something that we are doing something that is producing ourselves money, we add value to ourselves. And that when we speak, we have something. We contribute to major developments. When we speak, our voice shall be heard. Therefore, this is an important call to us black to join this organization, and so that we can be united and work together. And work together and make a force that we shall that people shall reckon with.
Amen. Just a moment. Just a moment, Evangelist Mumba. I'm gonna bring some other people on, but I do want to stress this to you as well as to the listeners. Right now, my focus is on trying to get my film trying to turn it into trying to turn my revised book into a film. That's what my focus is at right now. And the good news is that the IRS, which is the American government, they have approved me and Sister Renee's 501c3 application. So that's good. Now, so what that means, Evangelist Martha Mumba, is that me and Sister Renee, we can solicit angel investors and sponsors because this is a legitimate business. Even though we don't have a physical office right now because, our resources is extremely limited. But that's how come I'm trying to do my film. Because I wouldn't even have to make a film if, our people would have, especially people in my groups, if they would have purchased the book, and helped me get it on that bestsellers list. But that's yesterday's news. That's old news now. Now I'm focused on turning it into a film. And so that's what I want to do. And my goal is to, people that's on my friends list and people that's in my social groups to come forth. Be a part of this.
Yes, exactly.
So hold on, Evangelist. I'm going to bring some other people on, and I'm going to still keep you on the line, too, in case you want to speak with them as well. Okay? All right, I have on the line Evangelist Sophie Lamore. Okay, so if you want to, you can tell my listeners a little bit about yourself, and then whatever the Lord has laid on your heart to say as it pertains to my transcript that I sent.
Okay. Okay, do I have the floor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Evangelist Sophie Lamora, and my leaders are Bishop Dr. Sandy Burrell and Apostle Yvette Hawkins. I am a member of Community Church of God in Christ Next Dimension Tabernacle, and I am excited to be on here with you all. And I am not going to be long before you. I simply wanted to relay a very, 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 very brief message. We all are aware of what has been happening in our nation, and to the point that it went over the world. Other nations got hold of it. Standing up with Black Lives Matter. Yes, Black Lives Matter. And as we have watched, the turn of continuous events in America concerning the issues that plague, blacks and people of color, and it really it's such a true statement that Black Lives Matter. We look and see, how, our human rights continue, to be treaded upon. Human rights is exactly what it is. It's an inherent dignity, the equal and inalienable rights, of all members of the human family. So upholding these human rights these human rights principles as the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace and the world is fundamental to every undertaking, to everything that we do, to everything that we believe, and to our processes. So when those processes and institutions infringe upon our human rights, it is a major issue. And so I am excited about Brother Emmanuel Barbee's film project and his book, because he comes, from a place where not only does he want to bring forth the black unity and support, but it's coming from a place of making impactful change, a change that should be lasting from generation to generation. Now, we as black people come from a long history, from slavery, civil rights, segregation, and around the world, apartheid, and so on. And so we won those fights, and which brought us to this day and age because of unity. So the thought and the idea of unity is fundamental, because it took unity to bring us to where we are today. And as a result of unity, okay, we although in America it is said that we are no longer segregated, but there are so many ways that the system segregates us. We need systematic change in our justice system, in our education system, in the economy, in every way imaginable. And so this film project will bring together a fundamental change that which I believe should be impactful to lead us from generation to generation. Because if we today are fighting for our rights, we also have to prepare our children so that they don't continually repeat the same issues, the same steps all over again. So it comes from not only, as Brother Barbee talks about, raising awareness, solving black issues, mobilizing people, promoting black unity, and building God's kingdom, black empowerment in the 21st century, dealing with the social issues in the black community, such as safety, urban violence, unemployment, mass incarceration, failing school system, police brutality, inadequate healthcare and housing, institutional racism. So he brings together very important things that will change and shift our lives from now and going forward. So what I would like to do is make an appeal, because his dreams, if you read his stories, if you read the place where he's coming from and the project that he seeks to do, is not only national, but it is geared to go international. So when slavery was abolished, it was a movement. It was not a movement in just one country. And I can tell you that I am a native born of Haiti, and I can tell you that history will have you to hide the fact that we are the first free black republic. Okay, so you don't hear much about that in history in schools all around the world. You don't hear about that, but it takes one group of people to spark a fire and to take it all over the world. So unity is so essential in the film project that he's trying to bring together to bring forth these issues, so that there can be a lasting legacy. Because through education, through raising awareness, this film will bring together the reset of mindset. Because everything begins in the that's where it starts in the mind. Because if the slaves did not have a mind to be free, we would not be free today. If they were not unrelenting, we would not be free today. Yes, there are still yet more work to be done, and this is the call that I believe that Brother Emmanuel Barbee has over his life, is to bring black people together in unity. And he mentions about the war against Willie Lynch. The title of his film, of his book, The Hood Liberator, Made in Chicago, the war against Willie Lynch, and the Willie Lynch mentality. Now that is very powerful, of the control we may think that, that we are not controlled, but we are so controlled in so many ways. Through, that our very own U.S. Constitution, calls for equality for all. But we are not all treated equal, because when the police code, because I have family members, and friends who are part of the police force. Okay, when there's a 911 call that indicates that, and they have a code that indicates that this is coming from a minority community, and they have a order, they target the minorities, okay, for arrest, for summons, there's something wrong with that. Our black men are continually in prison for no reason at all. There's something wrong with that.
Just a minute, Evangelist Sophie. I have something to share with you, okay?
Yes.
Two things. One is also that Willie Lynch on the continent is called a colonized mentality.
Uh-huh.
Did you know about that?
Yes.
So they haven't been enslaved, but yet, they were colonized, and it's the same thing. The Willie Lynch mentality and the colonized mindset is basically the same thing.
Yes, it is.
And so, I use my Hood Liberator is based on my experience, and, I'm not going to go into all of that right now, but my thing is I hope and pray that I can get you to join my African group. It's called GRCAM of Africa.
Okay.
I prefer that you be in there because I am working with evangelist Martha Mumba. She's in South Africa.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. But see, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm not going to just sit up here and limit myself to just reaching out to quote unquote African Americans or Black Americans, which that's what I am. But that Willie Lynch mentality is strong within our own culture. So I'm willing to reach out to the global Black family, people such as yourself, because what I'm saying is I'm not going to just sit up here and just, like I said, it's been 28 years. You know what I'm saying? My family members don't even want to work with me in this area. They keep saying, "Oh, just focus on your own, your own personal goals and stuff." So they want to, it's like you get yours, I got mine. So that's what's keeping us divided nowadays. Everybody is individualized. They have this Americanized mentality. And so we're not. So now like all of that black unity and stuff is like the past and stuff. So this is why we as a racial group are being slaughtered like that. That's why there's no fear from these road cops. And Friday, another young Black man was killed in Georgia. I just posted that on my Facebook page. Did you see it?
I've heard about it. I have heard about it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
This mentality is really horrible, because what it does is, it translates even into, our advocacy. Because as you can see over a period of time in history, that then, you see a lot of civil rights activists and leaders standing up for justice.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, they just die out. You wonder, where are they?
Yeah.
So it's that mentality that translates into the justice system, where where a white judge will give a sentence to a Black person that which is very severe, okay, for something that for nothing at all, versus a white defendant who gets a slap on a slap on the wrist.
I understand. Okay? Yes.
But
hold on.
Recently, a teacher was beat up, half to death, was hospitalized. Okay, and the perpetrator, who was a white student, okay, because the mother said that she'll keep an eye on him, he was let go free.
Yes, but hold on though, Evangelist Sophia. This is what I'm talking about. How long are Black people going to sit up here and keep begging these financial elites? That's the thing. We have an option now. He called me to, try to connect with other people such as yourself and Sister Renee. So that way we can do our best to rebuild Black Wall Street, starting here in the city of Chicago. Because I'm not racist at all. white, I would say non-black sympathizers, they're welcome to join us, but we as black people got to take the lead in our own struggle. That's all I'm saying. And it starts with our own, yes, it starts in our own household. Because what I'm saying is that God, the transcript that I sent you, what I was saying in there, and also what I said on the video is that we have a whole continent, which is Africa. We need to focus on just building up our wealth and economic base here, and go and get our passports and visa and all that stuff, and go ahead and apply for dual citizenship. Because long as we still stay in this type of country, black people will be treated as third, fourth, and fifth class citizens. We're the majority over there in the continent. That's what I'm saying. We're the majority over there. But the hard part, I'm just trying to find people right here in my own city. It's just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But that's how come I want to do my film.
Well, the idea, I love the idea of your film because it speaks to education. And, raising awareness in education is very powerful because once you educate, when you look at for instance, let's look at the Jewish community. Everything stays within their community, okay? Their resources stay there. They have their own ambulance, their own hospitals. They build their own economic system, okay? So when you talk about unity within the black community, education is essential because with education, bringing forth about the understanding of how much economic power that we have as a people, and if we can come together in uniformity, and I don't mean it just in America, I mean all over the world, because there's been a lot of bloodshed over in history, okay, for certain rights that we have. And I think, it will take a lot of work in terms of educating our people and changing the mindset. Because there's a mindset that is intertwined in everything. Because when for instance, in the justice system, when a decision is rendered, okay, the idea is, okay, you just have to live with it. Okay? And so, certain things with an institution of racism, okay, gives you the mindset that, well, there's nothing I can do about it. But yes, there is something you can do about it. There is something you can do about it. Because if we prepare our next generation to be able, as we fight and demand for justice, okay, we need justice in every area, in the education system, that keeps our black young people stuck. Even the standardized tests are not standardized to black people's culture. Okay, the standardized tests are made for a certain group of people.
Go ahead, Evangelist Sophie.
Yes, I just simply wanted to encourage every listener to support the film project, to support Brother Emmanuel's book, a call to action. This is a call to action, that will help undergird the work with black people, at a grassroots level, making changes, at the community level, and spreading it, to the cities and to the states and internationally. So if we as a people understand our economic power and come in together to support and become opposite um, of what racism sought to do, which was the strategy of the of slave masters was to divide and conquer. And so when they divided, the families, that broke down, the mentality system of the family, it crushed them. And so it took away their power and their hope, because in unity there is strength. And so I feel that based on what I read about what GRCMA is looking to do, it will not only bring the unity together. Unity brings power. Unity beyond faith differences. Just as a black people coming together to say that, okay, we have our human rights and we want to uphold our human rights and human rights principles as our foundation of freedom, justice, and peace within our communities, justice and freedom not only within our homes and our communities, but to impact and to make changes amongst our brothers and sisters in Africa and the Caribbean and all over the world.
All right, we have Apostle Bernard on the phone. So go ahead, just tell us, what have the Lord lay on your heart about as it pertains to my speech.
Well, first off, thank you so much, Emmanuel, for the great work that you're doing, and what you're doing is what God has inspired you to do, and it's an awakening call, and it is not. It's actually quite a challenging call that you have, because what we're going down right now here in America is a lot of things that have been backed up for years, and for you to come out so boldly and you just want to talk about it and do something about it, it has been ordained by God, and that's a very good spirit. First off, I just want to thank you again for having me on the platform again, and I'll always be there when you need me to come up and just talk about anything that you want us to talk about. And now, in regards to what these ministries all about is reclaiming the lost America, reclaiming the projects and everything else. First off, we need to understand that why is it that we are going through all this? And the Word of God says that we are a one people. So what that means is that there's no color, there's no race, there's no religion, because we are all of God. We are all one nation. But we find that here in America, we've had so much segregation. We have been profiled, especially the black man has been profiled by the system. We see the school systems have gone wrong. We see the education, the health sector, and we see this kind of a cycle that is going on, and that is bringing up a revolt. And it's saddening that even as the country says one nation under God, indivisible, yet there's so much division. And so to speak, more division to the black man. But we need to understand that we need to arise as a black man. We need to arise and fight for what is ours. If you look back in history, as it goes that the black man was brought to America as a slave to work here. But even after freedom, we are still enslaved. We need to understand where did we go wrong, because it is not our fault that we it actually brought on us by being taken slaves into this country. But years and years thereafter, even freedom, being freed, we are still enslaved. We are still backwards. We need to understand, and as an African person, as an American black person, what can we do about it? Well, Martin Luther King did his part. Malcolm X did his part. Now it is up to us, and this is what direction Emmanuel Barbee is taken. And it is a very powerful, because we see that we're still in the project. We are still living in the ghetto. Why? Our school systems are wrong. Our health systems are wrong. Whatever we try to do is brought down. Now, we need to understand, first off, we as a black person, we need to change our mindset, which is very, very important. Once we change our mindset, then we can understand who we are, because we cannot do whatever we want to do without understanding who we are. We need to understand that we do not have to wait for another people to come our way so that we can be able to make sure that our school systems do right, that our health sectors are flourishing, our jobs and unemployment diminishes. We need to arise as a black person. We need to know we are people of value. Now, how do we do that? We need to do that by coming together. This is why Emmanuel Barbee is bringing us together so that we can network. We can try to come up with solutions. What are the solutions? Putting our minds together, having a one voice. Because what is happening right now is that we are being brought back to the very place that we was. We have no say. We have no voice. We are being killed left and right. Nobody is talking. Nobody says something. Something that really kills me and something that really puts me under shock is that even with all the killings, for example, Floyd and everybody else that have gone down in the way they have gone down, is that unfortunately, we as an African American, we are not saying nothing. Even in we see they are actually used to brutalize our very own. They may be black cops. They're used to brutalize the very black person. We need to understand that we need to arise. When we value ourselves, we will not let nobody else devalue us, because our value begins with ourselves. And therefore it is good as the black man, the black woman, to arise, value ourselves. How do we value ourselves? By educating ourselves. We need to educate ourselves. We need to believe in ourselves. We need to know that we can accomplish anything that we set our mind to do. We can reach the goal that we so desire. Now, what we have to do is we have to change our thinking. What is our thinking? Our thinking that we are little. Our thinking that we are persona non grata. Our thinking that we can amount to nothing. We are a powerful people. We are a strong generation. We are peoples of God. And I'm telling you that we will arise. We do not have to use violence. We do not have to use violence. We need to be intellectual people. People who can reason. People who can talk. People who can speak boldly. We do not have to go break things here and there. And we should not let other races take advantage of what we're doing, because once they break issues or look and break stones, then we as a black people we can come to a place that we are told we did it, whereas another race did it. We have to arise. When we see another race destroying property in the name of going out there to support the black man, we should stop them from doing it. We should own what belongs to ours. We should stand for our rights, but not in a violent way, because the minute we start being violent, people will not see us as any different as we was almost 50 years ago. But when we arise and realize that we can do things as a group, as a one person, we can be able to move mountains. We can be able to voice and air our grievances. What are our grievances? We will be able to say, stop the killings of the black man. Stop the violence. Stop the profiling. Stop the hatred of the black man. We need to arise as a people. And when they see that we are one, and one force cannot be moved, therefore they will have to listen. Because right now what is happening, we have been turned against our own self. What are we doing? We hate each other. We kill each other on the street. We are classified as drunks, as people who are weed smokers and drug addiction people, whereas we know we are better than that. That is why I say if we believe in ourselves, then the system will believe in us. But we need to come together as the one. So we need to educate each other. We need to uplift each other. We need to have seminars. We need to take care of our health structures, the infrastructure, the education system. We need to take care of even our old and our young. First off, which is very important, that even as our children look at us, let them see a people of value, because our children look up to us. And if we are out there destroying things, cursing out, doing drugs, doing prostitution, and all these kind of things, our children will take after us. They will not see the value of getting out of the projects. They will not see the value of getting out of the ghetto. They will not see any value in not killing. But when we arise, and become one nation, then the system which has been corrupting us, the system that has been putting us down, they will be able to see, wait a minute, they have a voice. We as a black man have to stand up and say, enough is enough.
Okay,
Enough is enough. Yes.
Okay, Apostle Bernard, I got a couple of things I need to share with you, and then just tell me your opinion on that, and then I'm gonna let you go. Okay?
Sure, no problem.
Couple of things. I believe I have to say I have to disagree with you a little bit. Okay?
Right.
No disrespect. I want to tell you why. Because you just made that statement about, yes, we need to stay here and fight. Remember you just said that?
About fighting?
The black man should stay here and fight. After.
Right, go ahead.
But what I'm trying to say is we have a whole continent that we need to be using our energy to be fighting for. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Now, look, if it was up to me, I would leave. But before I up and leave America, I want to make sure that I help my brothers and sisters, that's trapped in American ghettos, especially right here in the city of Chicago. That's why I'm trying to do my film. Now, I wouldn't even have to make a film, Apostle Bernard, if people that was in my friends list would help me get that book on that bestsellers list, but they don't want to read.
Correct.
So I mean, and my ebook is only $9.99. I try to keep it down. The price is low. I'm doing that in order to generate capital rather than begging people for donations.
Correct.
Right. So that's one issue. So we as black people, we need to build up our economic base, because that's the only reason that they're doing this to us. Those road cops and stuff, because they know they can get away with it. There's no consequences to kill a black man. So that's, look what happened to Eric Gardner. He was killed on video, and that police officer, he was acquitted, and he did an illegal chokehold.
Right.
So that's what this other, this recent guy that killed George Floyd thought that he was going to, get away with. But, a lot of people, it rose up and all that kind of stuff. And so, the system felt a little threatened. So they, want to go ahead and, hold that road cop accountable. But they want things to go back to business as usual, the status quo. But this is the time that we need to unite. Look at what's going on over there in China. Africans, let's say from Nigeria, not just from Nigeria, but from any part of Africa, they're being discriminated against, because of the Chinese. But yet, look at how Africa is treating the Chinese. They letting them come over there, taking over their economy. That's not cool.
It's not cool.
So that's how come I say, hey, that's how come I want to bring my Christian business over there, because that's the real battle. The financial, I call them the financial elites. That's a nice way to say, it's a nice way of saying, rather than, it's a euphemism rather than just saying rich white man, but that's what it is. It's rich white men that, control all this stuff. So they're constantly stealing the resources from Africa, the gold, the diamonds, oil, all the natural resources. And that's how come a lot of African immigrants, they're leaving Africa because the governments are failing them. But when you're coming here, all you're doing is helping getting America, you're paying your taxes and all that kind of stuff to this system.
You're so right. Emmanuel. Actually, because what you're saying is very true. That first off, we need to educate the black man. in whatever area. Right now, we are starting out with Chicago. And I would urge people to support this cause because once we educate the black men, they will know their value, they will know who they are. And if shout comes to push or push comes to shove, then we have a whole continent in Africa, absolutely, where we can go and take what belongs to ours because right here we have no people who are going to segregate us because they know our value.
Oh, hold on, Apostle Bernard, please. I just want to say, because I do my homework and I back up everything I say. South Africa is a majority. That's a black country. But yet that small percent of financial elites, they control that. They still running the whole country. And would you like for me to tell you why?
Right.
Would you like for me to tell you why?
Absolutely.
The reason why they still, even though they have a black, government, the ANC and things like that, and they've been in power for 20 years, and they still hasn't did anything about trying to get back that land reform. But yet, they passed laws about, gay marriage for, it's two gay preachers, they married each other. Did you know about that?
That's right.
Yeah, that's horrible. But yet when it comes down to land reform, they want to drag their feet. That's because the financial elites over there in Africa, they privatize a lot of those companies. So that's how come they can still discriminate.
Right.
So that's how come that's not cool.
It's not cool at all.
But I do like. I am gonna be honest. I do like Malema. From the EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters. I like him.
Right.
Even though I might not like, some of his messages, how he's saying things, but I still agree with what he's trying to say, that, we need to get our land back. Because that's for melanated people. That's our land. That's our promised land. So anyway, I do want to share this part with you too. Willie Lynch mentality is geared toward Black Americans, but the people that's on the continent, they have a colonized mentality. So it's the same thing.
Right.
So my thing is, Apostle Bernard, if I'm unable to get Black Americans or African Americans to be on my management team, it's no problem. That's why I'm reaching out to the globe. Hey, that's why I'm reaching out to the global Black family. I'm reaching out to African immigrants such as yourself. I'm willing to reach out to Afro-Caribbeans, Afro-Europeans, Afro-Canadians, Afro-Latinos. So I'm willing to work with y'all. So that way we can get this ball rolling, because I don't have another 28 years to waste.
No.
Yeah. So that's where my energy is focused right now, is trying to do this film, generate capital from there, and do everything which I have written in that book.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have on the line Missionary Quinn. Missionary Quinn, can you tell my listeners a little bit about yourself and then tell them your perspective about my video?
Okay, I am Dr. Quinn. I'm from Michigan. I'm a social worker, a teacher, a mother, a advocate, educator, and I trust in the Lord.
Amen. Okay, so what's your perspective about the video, please?
Okay, I just think that people really need to get their hearts and their minds ready and just allow the Holy Spirit to really just lead and guide them. It is an extremely difficult time right now. There's a lot of wrong going on right now in the world, and I think that that you're onto something, and you're bringing awareness, especially to Black communities. It's a critical moment. It's not political. It's spiritual. It's about human lives, and we need time to process this pain. And I think that your book and even putting it in the film will help and allow for this pain to be processed.
Amen. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Well, you mentioned quite a few things, and I think that if we just go down the list of systemic injustice, we can understand where you're coming from and how you plan to be a part of the solution. I mean, this isn't new. I mean, from 1619, I mean, this is like hundreds of years old. Black and brown people have been in bondage. 244 years of legal slavery. It's important to talk about this. But not only that, you're putting it in a book and you're talking about putting it on film. So this is just another way for people to feel and get the images in their mind. Slavery wasn't legal.
Oh, just a moment, missionary. It was legal here in America.
I mean, yes, sir. I'm sorry. So it was legal, but it wasn't just.
Oh, of course.
It wasn't justice. And so that kind of just contradicts and
All right. Can you repeat what you just said, please?
okay, so I'm gonna go back and say slavery was legal, but it wasn't just. It wasn't. They used the Bible to justify even beating slaves, and Jesus came and shed his blood to make us equal. The Bible is all about being equal and having equal access to the Father. Like we're heirs, we're joint heirs with equal access. And there is, I mean, we even look at the history of the black and brown people. There's documentation that says that we were property. We weren't even 100% human.
Yes.
And no one wants to talk about that pain.
Oh, I said that on my video.
Oh, well then that's why it's in my head.
Yeah, because they say that. Yeah, that's in the Constitution that yes, it says that all men are created equal. But if you read further down, it would say that black people are 3/4 human.
That's correct. And so again, we have to really go back and process this and dismantle this so that they can understand why we keep saying Black Lives Matter. It's not that all lives don't matter, but Black lives is on fire right now. We matter right now. We're taking a stand right now, so it is our lives that matter right now. And they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to deal with the pain that we're feeling, and they don't want to really see the truth. But if you go from, you really got to go from Genesis to Revelation to see how this even ties in with God. I mean, He made us. So to say, historically, white people would say, "I don't see color." They would say that as a way to try to say, "I'm not trying to hurt you, but I don't see color." Well, if you don't see color, you don't see me.
Well, just a moment, missionary. Quinn, I do want to jump in here. I just want to say this is what I talk about in my book as well, and I don't want to. Let me know when when you're ready to call it a night, because I don't want to hold you up too long. But I'm grateful for this opportunity. First of all, the financial. First of all, I want to even go back even further than that. We as black people, we have an option now. And the Lord has been putting this in my heart to try to encourage our people to look at that option. That option is for us to, we're going to have to build up our economic base. First of all, we're not going to get reparations because, yes, our people has been in this country for 400 years. Our ancestors are the ones that built this country. and they still don't want to give us reparations. And when I say they, I refer to the financial elites. Those are the people that's causing all of this mayhem throughout the world, because they're the ones that control the finances. They control mega corporations, and they control Africa. But that's where the Lord is putting in my heart. I mean, I don't understand why our people want to keep fighting. They say they want to just stay here and keep fighting. Now, we've been marching for 52 years here in this country. And we still, and a four-legged dog has more protection under the law than an unarmed black man or unarmed black woman. So I'm like, look, brothers and sisters, what we need to do is pull our, we have to practice group economics. But the hardest part about what's going on with our people this day and age is that a lot of our people has become Americanized. That's one, and a lot of our people are going through this Willie Lynch mentality, even within my family members. And that Willie Lynch that Willie Lynch mentality is, I got mine, you get yours. So they don't care about what's going on. I mean, people that's in our own racial group, they don't care about what's going on. So if we don't, right, so that's how come the road cops, they take advantage of that situation and say, oh, it's okay to kill, an unarmed black person because there's no consequences.
Well, I know it's like it's just so much deeper than that now. I mean, 'cause when you start adding other things in, like you said, the Willie Lynch mentality, but there is a lot of racial injustice that has caused mental health issues, and people are suffering from trauma, and they're afraid. And I think that is why some of our own family members won't even get on board, because of the mental construct that has been embedded in everything.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying the hardest part is, I mean, I'm not in a position to up and leave, because if I was, I would. But I would before I cut and run, I want to try to do something to help my brothers and sisters that's trapped here in Chicago in the in the inner city ghettos, because the urban terrorists is killing a lot of our people too. Just like the white supremacists. So it's sad on both ends, but especially our own people.
I agree, and I think we have the right idea, and we will have to tear it all down and rebuild the foundation. Just like they were saying, why were they tearing up in Minnesota? Why were they tearing it up? It wasn't ours anyway. We didn't own any of that. But they tore down the foundations, and if they want to say something about it, it was built on the backs of black folks. So they just tearing up their own stuff.
But I am gonna just say this too about what you're saying. It's also other groups that's not even black that's coming in there. That's they're hiding behind the protesters and tearing up the black community. So that's the stuff I don't like. I'm in favor of peaceful protesting. Just like our grandparents did during the civil rights era. That was positive of the Montgomery bus boycott. That was positive, and it had an economic condition on that too.
It was,
and that helped in Jim Crow too in the South.
But then we also had Malcolm X that came and said, by any means necessary, let's take this back and rebuild.
I understand, but what I'm trying to say about that stuff is that long as we, as black people, live here in America, we're gonna always be under the financial elites, because they control the laws, basically. Even though we have a lot of black people we had a black president, and he didn't do anything to really help the black community. Instead, he went out of his way to help, advance the gay agenda as well as help protect illegal immigrants. We don't have a sanctuary city.
Well, let's say in all fairness, he inherited a mess.
That's true.
And so, the only thing I can say is when I turn to page 44, I see a black face like mine. And that's the only face that's in the book. So I have to support and stay on that side because that's the closest thing that I'm ever going to get right now to having equity. We are not the controllers of the laws. We don't have the corporations, and we're not at the top, and we're not at the table. But I'm hoping to see, with all the things that's going on now, even with the blackouts and the days that we're going to withhold our money and start putting our money in our black neighborhoods and in our black banks and having our own and owning our own corporations, I'm looking forward to this thing turning around.
Okay, I'm for that as well, but how come our people don't want to focus on doing business on the continent? Because you know what? Now the Asians, they're trying to become the new colonizers. And yeah, because I do my research, and this is my show. I reach out to the global black family. I want us to all connect with each other. The financial elites want us to be separate, be apart and all that, but I want us to unite. That's the only way that we can defeat this white supremacy. And white supremacy is evil, as far as I'm concerned. It's pure evil, and yeah, the Ku Klux Klan, they say that they're Christians. How you're a Christian and you up here killing an innocent person?
That's correct.
And plus, we didn't ask to come here to your country in the first place. But Africa belongs to us. That's for melanated people, and that's where I want to eventually get my Christian business over there. But I have to start it here where I'm at right now in Chicago. And I hate to tell you this, missionary, I have to be real with you. I don't have no support at all from nobody here in my city. I've been pushing my vision for over 15 years. After 15 years that God put in my heart to write the vision and make it plain. And that's what I did in my revised book. And that's still barely selling. And so I say Satan is a lie. What I'm going to do, I take it to the next level, and that's to turn my book into a film. I went to film school. I learned the ins and outs of being a producer and a director. And that's where my mindset is at right now at this time in the at this point in time. But the problem now is this coronavirus.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's just always one thing after another, But I'm going to do the best that I can to get my message out. And this is why I created my online groups. This is why I'm online. This is why I'm reaching out to people such as yourself and others to network and to eventually move from behind this computer and turn my groups into a real business.
Well, I want to encourage you to just stay focused. And we're the heads and not the tails. And I know that this is going to be a resource, and it's going to be a blessing to people, and it is going to be a part of rebuilding and taking back ownership. So I'm excited about it.
Oh, thank you. Now, is there anything else that you would like to add to this conversation?
No, I just want to, like I said, encourage you to hang in there and keep on reaching out. And we're just going to continue to be warriors, and we're going to trust in the Lord, and we're going to put actions behind our words. We're going to put our money back into our community. We're going to help pull each other up. We're going to have to do that. We're going to have to continue to enlighten each other and build this network.
Amen. I like that very much. I love that. That's very positive. I do want to share with you too before we go that the Lord has blessed me to my 501c3 application has been approved by the IRS. So I thank God for that. That's a big major milestone for me. And right now I'm in the process of writing query letters to submit to angel investors and sponsors. My goal is to obtain $400,000 so that way I can hire qualified film crew as well as quality actors. And I'm willing to give everyone that's on my friends list that's able to well, once this virus clear up, to come to Chicago and audition for my film.
Awesome. I think that's just great.
And the proceeds from my film I'm going to use to hire qualified black middle class professionals to help carry out the mission that the Lord has given me, to purchase business equipment, purchase property as well, here in Chicago as well as on the continent. And so yeah, that I'm gonna carry out everything that the Lord has allowed me to write in my book. We're gonna stay focused. The only difference about my business versus, I would say, other black organizations is that this is based on my personal experience. I want to make sure I give everybody an opportunity to have a voice in this business. Non-black sympathizers, they're welcome to join us, but I'm going to let them know up front that our focus is on solving black issues and strengthening the black family. Anybody come in there with any nonsense, they're going to get kicked out. Also, I'm a screen people, I'm not going to have any pedophiles up in my Christian business. I don't care how much money they have. And I'm going to run my, and
background checks.
Say that again, please.
So you will do background.
Oh yeah, because this is going to be membership based, because again, I've been reaching out to our people for 28 years, online and offline. And my credibility is my book, because I documented everything that I've done.
All right.
And I ain't got time to sit up here and explain to people what I did and all that stuff. I just tell them, read the story for yourself. It's in writing. You know what I'm saying? I just want to connect with people like yourself, like-minded people that believe in, the higher power, and just want to make this world a better place, but especially in our inner cities.
Well, it's funny we're talking tonight. I have a phone conference tomorrow morning to address an issue in our school district. There is a school with 30% African American students, 70% basically white or mixed, and there are no African American teachers, and there's only two out of 80 staff members are African American.
Okay.
This is 2020. We shouldn't still have that.
I think that we ought to have our own black schools too. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because as long as you're going to, other people's school, they're going to dictate the policy. That's what it's all about with white supremacy.
That's correct.
And my organization, we stand against white supremacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, well, I'm going to call it a night then. I enjoyed, thank you again for your participation. And again, when you feel led about coming on here and sharing the word of God, just let me know and I'll make it happen.
All right, we'll do it soon.
And that will conclude our show for this evening.